Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Hi, welcome back to our online class. Now we are on part 2, which is the construction of the induction motor. So basically, the induction motor consists of the three basic parts, which is the enclosure, rotor, and also the stator. So as can be seen on this figure, there are also a drive shaft, terminal box for connectivity, then there are cooling fan. So this is the rotor, and this one is the stator winding. Okay, the stator winding. Okay, the enclosure consists of the frame and also two end bracket. Okay, so this is the frame and two end bracket. So this one and two end bracket. Okay, so the stator is mounted inside the frame. The rotor fits inside the stator with a slight air gap separating it from the stator. There is no direct physical connection between the rotor and also the stator. The enclosure also protects the electrical and operating part of the motor from harmful effects of the environment in which the motor operates. Bearing mounted on the shaft support the rotor and allow it to turn. A fan also mounted on the shaft is used on the motor for cooling. Okay, so as can be seen here, so we have the frame, and then we have the stator here, then we have the rotor. Okay, so this is the example of the squirrel cage rotor, and also the bearing and also the ball bearing. So the function of bearing here is to hold or to fix position and allow motor to turn. Okay, so this is the example of the stator. The rotor and also the stator are not connected to each other. There are slightly an air gap between the rotor and also the stator. So this is the example of the stator, which is a concept of the laminated steel. So this laminated steel will compress together and form like this. So this is the core, and also the winding will be inserted into the core slot. So this one, rotor and also stator, will fix into the frame of the induction motor. Then we have the cooling fan to cool down the induction motor temperature. Okay, so this is the squirrel cage induction motor. As can be seen here, there are copper bar embedded into the rotor slot and short at the end ring. Okay, then this is the example of the core, which is consisted of the laminated steel. Okay, for the wound rotor type, the wound rotor type is very special because there are a slip ring and also the carbon brush at the end of the winding. So the winding will be slot into the core and short at the slip ring. Okay, screw rotor and then the slot. So this is the winding, rotor winding. Okay, this slip ring. Okay, nameplates. So this is the example of the nameplate of the induction motor. The nameplate of induction motor is very important because we can determine the specification of the motor through the nameplate given at the motor itself. So the information such as the brand, the horsepower, rotor speed, NEMA design, service factor, three-phase system, voltage and frequency are available at the nameplates. So we can see the specification of the motor itself by looking at the motor nameplate.